keeping you connected to our community. 11 Connects.
Good morning, Colorado Springs. I'm Lauren Nicole, your host of 11 Connects, and I have the pleasure of being joined in studio today with Miss Marquesa Hobbs of Platinum Realty Group. Thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure, Lauren.
I know we're talking about spring. We're talking about folks getting ready, looking towards the future, potentially deciding to sell this year. Do you have some hot tips for us?
Yes, if you have been thinking about listing your house this spring, it is time to get a plan in place. You know, it's almost the end of February, and there's some steps you want to take to start putting your plan together.
Okay, let's get into it. What's step one?
Okay, so what I find is people often feel overwhelmed when they think of listing their home. So I break it down to those three manageable chunks. The first step is starting to declutter, depersonalize, going through your things. What do you want to move to your new home? What do you want to give away or donate? Also looking at maintenance items around the house. That's important to keep up on some of those things. And we talked a little bit about a referral directory I have that can provide people with different vendors they might need. Also, it's a time that I often bring in a stager to walk my clients through the home to give them some ideas and then bring them back as we prepare for those photos and video.
I love that because I know for me, I only always see my house every day. I don't know what somebody else walking into it for the first time is going to see. So that stager was really able to help me go like, here's the list of things that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome that you have that. Okay, so step two, what's our next step?
So as you're going through that process, it's often very emotional for people. When people choose to move, it's usually because of a lifestyle change. It can be upsizing, downsizing, it can be a birth, it can be a passing, it can be a job relocation. So there can be good things and bad things, but it almost always evokes some emotion. So one thing I pride myself on is walking along my clients so that they can process the feelings they're having and also remind them that this is a business transaction, and my goal is to help them really net the maximum they can in that process. So take some of the emotion out. Remember to stay focused on what it is we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I love that you can do that with your clients too, really build that relationship so that truly we can maximize our profits on the things that matter moving forward. So let's talk about step three.
Yes, and the profits, that brings up step three, which is setting the right list price. So a seller can really list at anything they want, but that doesn't mean that that's the best or right list price. So the buyers and current market actually show the seller what the market will bear at that time. So I do quite a bit of research and provide relevant market data so I can guide my clients so that they're not setting a price too low, meaning leaving money on the table, which no one wants to do. And we also don't want to set too high to where we're losing out on well-qualified good buyers.
Sure, and I know it's got to be hard for folks looking back at like, well, my house would have, could have sold at this a year or 2 years ago when we were at our peak. So I imagine that's an emotional process too.
You know, it is, and it also opens up some very good dialogue. We are not at the same place we were a year ago or 3 years ago, so we are where we are today.
Yeah.
We are still actually in what's considered a seller's market because inventory is low. We only have about a 2.9 month supply, and a 6 month supply is a balanced market. So it's important for people to realize the market we're in. You're selling in this new market, but you're also buying in this new market. So for most people, it kind of does balance each other out.
Well, that's fantastic news. I think that's something important to keep in mind too. You might be selling, might not be what you wished it was 3 years ago, but you're still getting to buy in that market as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if folks want to have you over, maybe get to chatting about what the steps are that they can take, how can they find you?
Sure. They can call me. They can go to my website. They can email me. It's really important for people to start talking to an agent to make sure they have the right partner and consultant guiding them through this process.